I do not think that the Holocaust education should be the most unique experience for a student. I don't think we should turn our children, or any children, into a morbid generation. We Jews are against morbidity. It should be one of the major topics, but not the only one. But the problem is, once a student enters this field, that student cannot even think of anything else. And therefore we need good teachers. I know the programs that you have, sending students to Auschwitz, very good. Who is teaching their teachers what to do when they come to Auschwitz? Are they going to listen to the guides? Forget the guides. What the guides can tell them, they can learn here in London from your program. They should go there and be silent and listen to the silence in that place. Something of the silence of those years when I was there is still there. Listen to it. And then read, let them read. Read the poetry of teenagers in Theresienstadt. Kids 12 years old, what they wrote, the beautiful poetry of these kids. When they wrote a poem, next day they were deported and went to Auschwitz. How do they do that? How can we live with that? And therefore, we must learn. I'm a passionate believer in learning. Learning means the art of questioning. When I would come home as a child from Cheder, from the yeshiva, my mother never asked me, "Did you have a good answer today?" She would say, "Did you have a good question today?" Ask questions. And when you will learn, you will ask your questions. You ask, Mimi, you quoted the story. The story is even deeper than that. The trial took place not after the war, but during the war. And I was there. One of the three sages was a fellow worker with me. We worked together, we would carry kind of stones, and I never saw his face, only his neck. So we studied the Talmud by heart. And one night he called me. He said, "You are young, you may survive, and therefore bear witness." And that was a trial. During. What strength of faith. What courage of the spirit. What fervent dimension of despair. And yet. So what do we learn then? That whatever we have done in the past has an effect in the present. For us, the past lives in the present. The past is not instead of the present, but it lives in it. And here we come to the third part. And I believe that whatever happened to the Jewish people has a meaning to other people as well. Religiously, the Torah was given to us first. And millions, billions of people have taken it. But first, it happened to us. And Talmud tells us, when God gave the law, there was such a silence in the cosmos that the birds stopped chirping, the animals howling, the wind blowing, and out of the silence emerged the Logos, the Word of God. We are carriers of that silence. As a writer, I can tell you, The weight of a book is not the weight of its words, but it is the weight of its silence between the words. So sometimes we represent the silence to the world. But silence, I speak metaphysically. Morally, it means, and that is what we have taught the world, that wherever people suffer, be they Jewish or not, be they Europeans or Asians, be they young or old, we as Jews have the duty to say no to their injustice, no to the injustice of which they are victims. No, that we can say no. You know, my little foundation which Marion and I created, we take care of 1,000 Ethiopian children in Israel. And then when the Darfur tragedy occurred, we decided to open up our centers for Darfur children. As Jews, we must do that. I remember in '79 I went to Cambodia. At the border, a journalist came up to me from the New York Times. He said, "What are you doing here? There are no Jews here." And I said, when we needed people to come to us, they were not there. Therefore I'm here. So what do we learn? I believe what is threatening the world today is fanaticism. We have always believed that fanaticism is a danger. The Second Temple was destroyed because of the fanatics. We are against it. Any person has the right to believe in whatever he or she believes. Muslims or Buddhists or atheists. Who am I to judge? I'm not God's policeman. So what do I learn? The suicide terrorism, which is the greatest threat. And you mentioned it, Philip, I think you mentioned about Ahmadinejad. He is the threat. He is the #1 Holocaust denier in the world. And what he says is, there was no Holocaust, but there will be one. And he will do it, he said. How? With an atom bomb. European diplomat asked him, what about the reprisals from Israel? He said, we can take, it will cost us $1 million or even 10 million. We can take it. We have 1,200,000,000 Muslims in the world. My God, what kind of language, what kind of logic, what kind of philosophy is this? But this is what he believes in. Suicide terrorism began in Israel. And the world thought, well, only Jews. Now it's in London, even in Muslim countries, it's all over the world. We met the Prime Minister today. By the way, I think he's a great friend of the Jewish people, and a great friend of Israel. And we spoke about it. We spoke about globalization. Yes, people speak about economic globalization. Nonsense. The only globalization that works today, unfortunately, is terrorist globalization. There is globalized terror. And what we learn, therefore, from our experiences, when the enemy says certain words, we better take them seriously. It's not only in our interest, it is also in the interest of the whole world. I promise to speak less than 15 minutes given to me, so I'm almost there. And I will therefore give you the end of my conversation with the Dalai Lama, who became our great, great friend. I said to you, I'll tell you how we survived. When we left Jerusalem, in our homeland, what did we take with us? A little booklet to study. It's our passion for learning. It's our commitment to memory, which is included in that booklet. And solidarity. When the Jews left Jerusalem, they came, let's say, to Rhodos, there was already a Jewish community. When they followed the Roman legions and came to Lyon, there was already a Jewish community. When the Jews were expelled from Spain, they came to Greece. So what North Africa, Italy, solidarity. I said to him, my good friend, the art of survival, study Jewish history.